I will admit it. I am a self-professed control freak, which is exactly why I love a summary at the top of a resume. Think about the power of first impressions. Whether you're meeting someone for the first time or you're skimming a document, that opening, it sets the tone for everything that follows. In today's post, I'm going to show you how you can use first impressions as a superpower so you can control how recruiters are looking at your resume. Hi, I'm Laverne McKinnon, and welcome to the Moonshot Mentor community. If you're navigating a career transition, now that might mean you're stepping up or you're getting started or you're making a pivot, you're in the right place, because I'm a career strategist and a grief recovery specialist, because whose career doesn't come with a little bit of heartbreak? I really do love to help people going through career changes sort through all of that noise spiritually, strategically, and tactically, so you can make moves that feel aligned with what's most important to you. Now remember, there's never any need to go it alone. We can find that next step together. And hey, if you're enjoying this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. You know it's a win-win for both of us. You get weekly career advice, and I increase my visibility. So a very cool thing that we can take advantage of when we're writing our resumes is what psychologists call the primacy effect. We tend to remember what comes first more than what comes later. A resume summary is going to work the same way for you. It's going to prime your reader's brain, framing your story, and so it's going to help recruiters know what to pay attention to as they're scanning your resume. Now, here's a non-resume example to bring this alive. If someone introduces me to their friend Jack, I'm inclined to see him as trustworthy because a friend of a friend. Now, if they introduce Jack as their plumber, I'm immediately going to say, oh, in a professional context, do I need a plumber? Can he solve my problem? If they introduce Jack as a Harvard graduate, it's just information. I have no idea what to make of that. So your resume summary functions the same way. It's going to provide the lens through which the rest of your experience is looked at. Without it, recruiters are just left to make their own assumptions, and we do not want them to do that. We want you to be able to control your narrative. To drive this home a little bit further, there are different types of resumes. There's a functional resume, there's a chronological resume, and then there's a hybrid. Functional resumes got really popular several years ago because it allowed us to remove all of that chronological information and just focus on the relevant elements of our education, of our experience, of our talent that would tee us up for a role that we were interested in. Well, unfortunately, we don't really use functional resumes anymore because applicant tracking systems, ATS, they can't make sense of them because it has a nonlinear structure. And so ATS can't always connect those dots. Most companies today are relying on chronological resumes, so that summary at the top becomes your best chance to control how your resume gets read and what story you're trying to tell through your resume. Now, one more piece of information here before we get into how to craft a resume summary. They used to begin with an objective, and the objective was a really short statement about what the job seeker, you, wanted. It was something like, seeking a challenging marketing position where I can grow my skills and advance my career. So the problem with that is that objectives are entirely self-focused. They're going to tell the employer what you want, but not what you can offer. In the 2000s, everything changed. Online job boards like Monster and Career Builder meant employers were flooded with resumes, and the recruiters didn't actually have time to read all of those resumes carefully, so they skimmed, and applicant tracking systems, ATS, became standard, helping the recruiters filter through the applications by scanning for keywords from the job postings. So that allowed the hiring to become faster, there could be higher volume, and it became much more competitive. There's not a mistake here. I put a strike through in terms of the objective because we just don't use them anymore because they focus on you and not the problem that you're going to solve for the employer. Enter the modern resume summary. Instead of focusing on the job seeker's goals, the summary shifts the spotlight to the employer's needs. It's a short professional pitch, 2 to 5 sentences, and it puts the employer first by highlighting your most relevant skills and achievements for the job that you are applying for. And you want to be able to use the keywords strategically to get noticed by both ATS and the human readers. The summary, it acts as a highlight reel, and so it's drawing the recruiter in and showing them at a really quick glance how you can solve their problem. Now, the summary, it isn't just a convenience for the recruiters. It's really super, super advantageous for you because it's a framing device rooted in how our brains actually work. So there's something called schema therapy. By providing a frame that says something like creative executive transitioning into a project management, you are priming the recruiter to look for the evidence that supports that you are a project manager. Now, framing effect is the angle that you choose that shapes the interpretation. So if you call yourself a strategic communicator and your experience reads differently than if you call yourself a public relations specialist, that's going to have impact. So sort of like going back to that Jack example, if I'm thinking of Jack as a friend, as a plumber, as a Harvard graduate, it frames how I'm looking at Jack and whether Jack is someone that I want in my life. And then finally, there's this thing called predictive coding. Our brains make predictions as we read. A summary primes those predictions so the recruiter naturally interprets your bullet points as proof of the story that you've already set up. So that's why a resume summary has become so valuable. It's not just a nice to have, it's an important tool to control the narrative. So instead of leaving a recruiter to draw their own conclusions, you're going to hand them the lens through which to see your career. Really genius, isn't it? Now, the biggest mistake that I see with summaries is that people treat them like packing for a family vacation. There's 7 bathing suits, rash guards in every size, a pile of goggles, flip-flops, sneakers, workout clothes, a sun hat, baseball cap, bucket hat, floppy hat, wide brim beach hat. And that's before the fancy dinner outfits, bags, and jackets. It's all crammed into one suitcase. You cannot do that. Your summary is not a luggage cart for your entire career. It's a go bag. Just the essentials that make you nimble, primed, and ready, and focus whoever's looking at your resume on what they should be looking for. So how do you actually write a summary that captures attention, frames your story, and signals to both humans and machines that you're a right fit? Well, a strong summary is going to follow a few key principles. The first is keep it short, 2 to 5 sentences max. And you're going to hear this ad nauseum over and over again. Use keywords and borrow them directly from the job description to show alignment. Don't be shy about this. And then you're going to tailor your summary for every role that you apply for. So you're going to recraft your resume first and then craft your summary for that specific opening. And your summary needs to include one concrete accomplishment that is relevant to the job posting. And make certain that you put numbers or outcomes to it so you make it real. And skip personal pronouns, keep the focus professional. So don't use the word I. If you need a place to start, there's a really great formula from JobScan. Use it as a guide. It's not chiseled in stone. Use this to get you started, but then make it your own. So you always start with your job title, creative executive, project manager, whatever that is, with experience in, and then you're going to list out 3 skills. And then something along the lines of proven ability to do this and this. So accomplishment 1, accomplishment 2. And then this is an opportunity when you say known for, this can insert more personality that's really unique and specific to you. So you can focus on your work style, strength, what value you bring to the role. I always find it helpful to see examples, and I'm going to give you 3 of them. But before we dive into those, let's be really clear on what makes a summary weak versus what makes a summary strong. A weak summary is vague, generic, and self-focused. It tells the employer what you want, but doesn't show them what you can deliver. So it lacks specifics, keywords, and measurable impact. A strong summary, on the other hand, is precise, employer-focused, and backed by proof. It highlights the value that you bring, and it uses language from the job description, and it gives the recruiter a reason to keep reading. Remember, it frames your story and it makes it easy to connect the dots. Okay, now I'm going to show you 3 examples of how that difference plays out in practice using 3 different people in different career stages. Let's start with an executive level sample. And here's the first version, weak sauce. Experienced communications professional with a background in media and leadership, looking for a senior role where I can use my skills and help a company succeed. Whew, boy, yikes. That is vague, self-focused, and filled with cliches. The phrases experienced and looking for a senior role, that could apply to 1,000 different candidates. And there's no evidence, no accomplishments, and no sense of what makes this person stand out. So let's take a look at a stronger version of that same summary. EVP of Communications, and I would advocate maybe saying Executive Vice President of Communications with expertise in corporate strategy, media relations, and executive messaging. Proven ability to lead global teams and manage multi-million-dollar campaigns that elevate brand reputation and drive stakeholder engagement. Known for combining strategic vision with hands-on execution to deliver clear, compelling communications in high-stakes environments. So why this is strong? It leads with the title, signals seniority, and immediately names core strengths. And it uses action-driven phrases like proven ability, known for, and it also quantifies scope, so global teams, multi-million-dollar campaigns. And also, if I was being really nitpicky, I'd probably encourage this person to get even more specific and name the number and not just say multi-million, because we could be talking about 3 million or we could be talking about 50 million, and that makes a huge difference. And then, of course, impact, elevating brand reputation, driving engagement. So this frames a candidate as a strategic leader who delivers results. Okay, now let's take a look at a career pivoter. Creative professional with experience in entertainment and production, looking for a role that leverages my skills in management and strategy. So again, this is generic and self-focused. Creative professional could mean anything. Is that a creative executive? Is that an actor? Is that a director? Is that a visual effects supervisor? I don't know. Looking for a role tells me nothing about what the applicant can contribute. And there's no connection between past experience and the role that they're targeting. So let's take a look at a stronger version of someone who is career pivoting. Creative executive transitioning to project manager, bringing 10 years of experience leading cross-functional teams with transferable strengths in strategic planning, budget management, and deadline execution. Known for delivering complex projects 15% under budget and improving team efficiency by 20%. Ready to apply proven leadership skills to fast-paced project environments. Okay, so many strengths here. It names the pivot directly, not shying around it, and then it guides the recruiter's lens. Transferable skills are spelled out, accomplishments are quantified, and the tone is confident. So instead of asking the recruiter to connect the dots, it does the work for them. And then one more for someone who's just starting out. Recent graduate seeking an entry-level position to learn new skills and gain experience. That's an objective, it's not a summary. A summary looks like this. Recent graduate with a BA in communication and hands-on experience in digital media. Completed an internship managing content calendars and boosting engagement by 15%. Eager to bring strong writing skills, fresh ideas, and digital fluency to a growing marketing team. Why it's strong? It's really specific. Degree plus naming the field offers proof of experience through the internship experience, and it says 15% boost in engagement, and it shifts the focus to what the graduate can contribute, skills, ideas, energy. Really, really good. And it positions them as ready to add value, not just hoping to gain it, or learn, or looking for an opportunity to prove myself. That's not awesome at all. So in a job market where recruiters are spending literally seconds scanning resumes, your summary, it's not just an intro, it's your headline, your hook, and your chance to control the story. Bottom line, a summary is your chance, and I've said this a gazillion times, to control the narrative. Just like the way you're introduced to Jack changes how you see him, friend, plumber, or Harvard grad, your summary sets the lens through which recruiters read your entire resume. Otherwise, without it, they're going to be left to make snap judgments based on scattered detail. And I'm not making this up, because psychology tells us this matters. Framing shapes interpretation, schemas guide what people notice, and the brain looks for patterns to confirm its first impression. So by writing a focused, employer-centered summary, you're not just listing skills, you're directing how your career story gets processed and valued. So that's why the summary isn't filler, it's strategy. Okay, that's it for today. But before you go, if you're not yet a paid Moonshot Mentor Substack subscriber and you want to feel more support, you want to be motivated, feel less alone, and basically get through your career transition, join my paid Substack community. It's $5 a month, and you're going to get exclusive journal prompts, guided meditations, live workshops, which are really, really awesome, and a community of ambitious, purpose-driven professionals. You can sign up at moonshotmentor.substack.com, and you're also going to find all of my socials and ways to work with me. A super big thank you to Amanda Kenny for the editing and social media expertise, and to Lauren Deacon, who manages all of the Moonshot Mentor brand. And she is honestly an organizational and research genius. I am so lucky for Amanda and Lauren to be in my life. And I'm also really, really lucky that you're spending time with me today. Please come on back. And until next week, keep going after your moonshot.